Okay, so in this video we are looking at a mix of factorising questions. So the main thing to make sure you're always aware of is the order that you want to check for your factorising. So the first thing you always want to look out for is there a common factor? And remember, the common factor, that is your single bracket factorisation. So you always want to look to see, is there something you can just take outside of a bracket? But then, even if you do common factorise, you then always want to check, is there a difference of two squares that have now appeared? So even if you common factorised or not, you then move on to check, is there a difference of two squares? And remember, that is when we have a squared minus b squared equals a plus b and a minus b. And then lastly, check over to see, is it a trinomial? Can you apply the sum and product method to it? So this is the order you always want to look. So common factor first, then difference of two squares, then trinomial. But even if you do apply a common factor, check to see if you could also do a difference of two squares with what you have left. Or even if you do a common factor, still go through, because you might be able to do a trinomial factorisation. So that's the order we always want to look at it. So let's jump into some questions. So we've got factorise. Our first one is 8x squared plus 12x. So going through my list, from the get-go, I definitely know I've got a common factor because I've got letters shared here. So I know x is going to be definitely on the outside, and my highest common factor for my numbers is 4. Because 4 is the highest thing that divides into 8 and 12. So I've got 4x on the outside. Inside, 4 times 2 would give me that 8. And then x times x would give me x squared. Then 4 times 3 would give me the 12. And then I look to see, right, I've done my common factor. Can I factorise the bit in here any further? No, I can't. So that is that question done. Next one, I look to see if there is a common factor. No, there isn't, because x is not shared all the way across. And there is no number here for me to divide by. So I look on for difference of two squares. I know it's definitely not going to be a difference of two squares because I've got 3 terms rather than the 2 terms. So that means I'm left with my sum and product. So, doing my sum and product, my sum is -2. My product, multiplying the front with the back, that is -48. Things that multiply together to give me 48 is 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 3 times 16, 4 times 12. Sorry, I don't know why I went so slow there. 6 times 8. So those are all the things that multiply together to give me 48. And to make a -2, I do 6 take away 8. That will give me -2. And remember, I can double check to make sure that I will still get that -48 by doing 6 times -8. And that does give me that negative I need. So then moving on, I've got x squared plus 6x minus 8x minus 48. Split it down the middle. highest common factor on this first half is x. Inside will be x plus 6. Because that's a negative, need a negative next. Then the highest common factor here is 8. Then one of my brackets will be that x minus 8. And the other one is going to be this x plus 6. And then I can't factorise that any further. Okay. Next one. So looking through, is there a common factor? No, there's nothing I can divide both 149 by, so I move on to my difference of two squares. Can I square root everything? Yes, I can square root 100, I can square root 49, and I can square root c squared. So I've got a difference of two squares here. So, setting up my brackets. Square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 49 is 7. Square root of c squared is c. Okay, so question, and then I look again quickly. Can I factorise them anymore? No, I can't, so I move on. So question 4, I've got 8m squared minus 50n squared. So first, I look to see if there's a common factor, and there is. I can divide both 8 and 5 by 2 because they're even, and that is my highest one. So I've got 2 on the outside, 2 times 4 would give me that 8, and then 2 times 25 would give me 50. And then I look to see, can I factorise this bit in here a little further? And the answer is yes, I can, because I can square root the 4, I can square root m squared, I can square root 25, and I can square root n squared. So that means I have a difference of two squares happening. So, setting up my brackets. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of m squared is m. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of n squared is n. And then I can't do anything further, so that's me done with the question. Okay, next one then. So, looking through, first, is there a common factor? Yes, there is. I can divide all of my numbers here by 3. So I'm going to take 3 on the outside. And then I've got a trinomial happening. I've got this x squared minus 5x plus 4 occurring. So I'm going to do my sum and product now. So, sum and product. My sum is at minus 5. Multiplying the front and the back, that's going to be 4. Things that multiply to give me 4 is 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. To make negative 5, that would be negative 1 take away 4. Give me negative 5. And again, if I think about multiplying them, negative 1 times negative 4, double negative to give me that positive 4 that I have in my product. Then putting that into my expression after the common factorisation. So I've got 3, and then I'm going to have x squared minus 1x minus 4x plus 4. So splitting it down the middle there, highest common factor here is going to be x, and then I'll have x minus 1. I'm going to have that minus, highest common factor in the second half is 4, and then it'll be x minus 1. And so one of my brackets is going to be this x minus 4. And my other bracket will be that x minus 1. And there we go. Okay, so the last one then on our examples. So looking through, I can common factorise it because all of these are even, so I can definitely divide them all by 2. And in fact, 2 is my highest common factor. So I'm going to have 2 on the outside, then 2y squared plus 7y plus 5. And then I've got these 3 terms, so I can do my sum and product. So sum and product. My sum is plus 7. My product, multiplying front and back together, is 10. Things that multiply together to give me 10 are 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. Oh, 2 add 5 would give me 7, so that is what I'm going to work with. Then instead of 7y, I put 2y plus 5y. Then common factorisation. Common factor on that first half is 2y. That will be y plus 1. Common factor on the second half is 5. And then collecting the parts together, one of my brackets is going to be that 2y plus 5. And the other bracket is that y plus 1. Hopefully this has helped a little bit with just how to identify when to factorise. Just make a note somewhere of this order. And just always be aware that if you do that common factor, make sure you then check to see can you do any of the other ones after it. Let me know if there are any issues and good luck with the work.